Welcome to Tiara Tuesday with Princess Gigglebottom.
Hi friends, Princess Gigglebottom here. Welcome to the next episode of Tiara Tuesday, Bing! Where you don't have to be royal, but you gotta be real. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the royal shenanigans. So here on Tiara Tuesday for the past few episodes, we've been talking about something called the Mind Makeover. It's a program that I put together, and each week we discuss a new tip or trick or topic that has to do with behavioral health and how to manage some of those challenges. So we've talked about our beautiful brains. We've learned about our amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. We've learned about a candle in the forest, helping lead us through the dark, taking one step at a time, and lots of other great things. If you've missed any of those, you can tune into the other episodes so you can get caught up. So today, something that's been coming up a lot for me personally and also in session with my patients in my practice is ruminating thoughts. And one of the things that's really challenging about ruminating thoughts, well, first, let me tell you what a ruminating thought is. So that is a thought that when you are sitting and watching your favorite Hallmark movie or your favorite episode on Netflix, and a thought creeps in and it just goes around and around and around. It can be those endless what if scenarios. What if this? What if that? But then this, well, what about that? And it can be very overwhelming and frustrating. So some people refer to this as the hamster wheel. You know, my mind is racing and it's just tossing the same thought over and over and over again. So one of the reasons that happens is that your brain is trying to solve a problem that most likely it doesn't have all the information to solve the problem. It's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together with missing pieces. So a lot of times what we think we need to do is coach ourselves and say, I need to stop. I need to stop thinking about whether or not I'm going to get a raise. I need to stop thinking about whether or not he or she is going to call. I've got to stop worrying about what if this and what if that. Well, the harder you push to say no and that you've got to stop, the more your brain clamps down because it doesn't hear the no. All it hears is that you're repeating and kind of reinforcing what it's doing. So I have a little tip or trick that might help with this. So in the fancy, behavioral health world, we call this thought redirection, but I have a much more practical approach. Whew, okay, there we go. So do me a favor. Imagine that you are driving down the road, okay, and you're just going along, you've got your music on, you're jamming, you're in your space, everything's great, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, kablam, a huge boulder is dropped right in front of you out of nowhere. So automatically, it seems that you have two choices, right? You can slam on the brakes or you can smash into the boulder. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, PGB, what in the world does this have to do with redirecting thoughts? And I'll explain. Just stay with me for a minute. So we're driving, boulder, two choices, slam on the brakes or crash into the boulder, right? So I just explained to you how when you have racing or ruminating thoughts, trying to slam on the brakes and stop the thought doesn't really work. So I'm not suggesting that you slam into the boulder. What I'm offering you is a third choice. So rather than slamming on the brakes or smashing into the boulder, what I want you to do is turn your steering wheel either right or left and go around the boulder. I want you to head in a different direction. Okay? So what I want you to do then is, once again, we're driving along, everything's great. Bam, out of nowhere, here comes the boulder. Don't slam on the brakes. Don't smash into the boulder. What I want you to do is accelerate and turn your wheel and head in a different direction. So how that relates back to our brain is this. If you are stuck ruminating about a thought, what I want you to do is send your brain in another direction. So coaching yourself and getting angry that you can't stop thinking about a thought is not the way to do it. I have to stop being anxious. Why can't I get over this? I've got to stop being anxious. That's not going to work. But what will work is if you send your brain kind of on a mission to figure out something, or you send it on an errand, on a journey. Okay. So the way that we can do that is by either thinking about the lyrics to a favorite song. If you're a math person, you can start reciting your timetables. If you are a letter person, you can start thinking about how to spell words backwards. Another thing that's really great is something that I call rainbow grounding. So if you're creative and into arts like I am, one of the things that I do to accelerate my brain and get it around the boulder is to think about, what do I see around me that's red? What do I see around me that's green? And I'll name all the things in the room that are red. And then I'll name all the things in the room that are green. So those are just some ideas that you can use to get your brain to push that accelerator, turn the steering wheel, and send those thoughts in a different direction. So that's one way that you can deal with what we call ruminating thoughts, or when your brain gets stuck on that hamster wheel and that looping. Okay? Next week, we're going to talk more about that. But for now, remember, when in doubt, dance it out. Boom, 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 boom. I put some new moves in there. I don't want you to get bored. Remember, life is short. Don't forget to giggle. Giggle with me. Princess Gigglebottom here, saying thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week on Tiara Tuesday. Mwah!